Chosen one. A strange and powerful truth makes itself known the moment a chosen one crosses the path of a soul who has spent lifetimes dancing with shadows. It is a truth older than memory itself. When pure light and ancient darkness meet, neither remains unchanged. This encounter is not ordinary, not casual, not random. It shakes realms, softens storms, and forces both heaven and hell to pause and watch what unfolds. For you, the earth angel, the empathic being, the one born with intuitive sight and a heart carved from compassion, have awakened something inside a being who once believed they were beyond all feeling. A devil, scarred by lifetimes of chaos and crowned in their own darkness, has fallen in love with you. Not the kind of infatuation that comes and goes like weather, but a deep, soul-level recognition, a surrender they never thought possible. You have handled them in ways no one else ever dared to, not with fear, not with desperation, not with attempts to control. You met their fire with a steady calm, and you met their darkness with the kind of love that does not sacrifice its own identity. You met them as you are, light disguised in human form, and that alone caused a shift in the unseen world that even you may not have realized. Before we dive deeper into the truth behind this connection, I invite you, dear listener, dear traveler of this path, to stay with this video until the very end. Your presence here is part of your own awakening, your own unfolding. And if you feel called, write your warmest wishes and the number 66 in the comments. This is a chapter about wishes coming true, about energizing the universe, about aligning your intention with destiny. Your words carry power, and when shared collectively, they form currents that ripple far beyond the screen in front of you. Chosen one, your destiny awaits. Click the hype button, like this video, subscribe, and walk with us into the light. There is something about you that has always stood apart from the rest of the world. You may not have understood it growing up. You may have felt out of place or overly sensitive, or too aware of things others seemed blind to. You felt energies without being told, sensed people's inner storms before their behaviors revealed them. And when someone wounded approached you, your spirit instinctively reached out with compassion rather than judgment. That trait alone is enough to disarm even the most guarded beings. Some people fear that quality, others envy it. But a rare few, those who carry ancient power within themselves, feel drawn to it in ways they cannot resist. That is how the devil, the wounded, fierce, misunderstood force wrapped in shadow, first noticed you. Not because you were naive, not because you were easy to manipulate, but because you stood untouched by their chaos, because you are the one thing they never managed to break, control, or confuse. This kind of devil is not a caricature of evil, but a soul hardened by survival, shaped by betrayal, sharpened by experience. They know how to read people, how to detect weakness, how to defend themselves before anyone even approaches. They expect everyone to come with a hidden agenda. But when they encountered you, they saw none of the usual signs. You didn't want anything from them. You didn't try to fix them. You didn't worship them. And you weren't intimidated by their darkness. You simply existed in your truth. And that truth was enough to begin dissolving the walls they had spent centuries building. For the devil is not afraid of the world. They are afraid of being seen, and you saw them, all of them. Their brilliance, their rage, their tenderness, their vulnerability, their pain. For the first time, someone looked at them without flinching. This terrified them, and yet, it tethered them to you. There are beings in this world who live in extremes, those who have tasted both divinity and destruction. A devil is one such being. Most people only see their harshness, their control, their intensity. But you saw the cracks in their armor, the loneliness behind their eyes, the longing they refused to admit the moment your light brushed against their darkness. Something in them awakened, something they had buried long ago. The desire to be understood without being deceived, the desire to be loved without being used, the desire to rest, even for a moment, in the presence of someone who would not judge them for their scars. You, the Earth Angel, did not choose this connection. It chose you. Not because you needed saving, but because you are capable of facing the parts of others that the rest of the world runs from. Many have mistaken your gentleness for weakness, but the devil saw your strength immediately. They saw the fire beneath your softness, the depth beneath your calm, and what they saw frightened them more than their own demons. They realized that you could see through them, understand them, and perhaps most terrifying of all, you could love them without permission. Love to them had always been a weapon, something used to manipulate or control. But with you, it became something else. It became a mirror, a revelation, a force they could not dominate, only surrender to. At first, they resisted. They tried distancing themselves. They tried acting indifferent. They tried testing you, pushing you, provoking you. They expected you to fold, to give up, to walk away like everyone else. But you didn't. You did not chase, yet you did not collapse. You stayed rooted in your essence, which only pulled them in deeper. For devils fall in love not with those who fear them, but with those who stand firm in their own light. Your energy did something to them that no spell, no ritual, no manipulation ever could. It disarmed them. It reminded them of their soul beneath the layers of pain and power. This love is not simple. It is not gentle in the conventional sense. It is transformative, alchemical, disruptive. When a devil falls in love with an earth angel, everything inside them begins to shift. They question their own patterns. They feel emotions they tried to bury. They experience jealousy, protectiveness, longing. They suddenly become aware of their own shadows in ways they never wished to face. They begin to confront the loneliness they pretended they were immune to. And all of this happens because you touched a place in them that had been frozen for lifetimes. But don't misunderstand. You did not change them. Your love did not magically heal them. What you did was awaken the part of them that wants to change, wants to heal, wants to grow. They fell in love with you because you treated them as a soul, not a monster. You saw their humanity where others only saw their darkness. And that recognition, that sacred acknowledgement, became the first thread that tied them to you. The devil's love is intense. It is consuming, obsessive, loyal in a way that can feel overwhelming. They are not used to sharing their true selves with anyone, so when they choose someone, they choose them fully. They watch you closely, not to trap you, but to understand you. They memorize your patterns, your moods, your fears, your dreams. They admire your resilience, your empathy, the way you heal without trying, the way you shine even when you are tired. You might not even realize the impact you have on them because they hide their vulnerability behind a wall of strength. But internally, they feel every moment with you as if it were carved into their soul. What confuses them most is your ability to love without losing yourself. They are used to people who become addicted to them, who cling, who need constant validation. But you have your own inner world, vast, sacred, self-sustaining. Your love is not desperate. It is intentional. Your presence does not drain, it nourishes. They cannot understand how you give so much without breaking yourself in the process. And secretly, they fear losing you because they have never encountered someone who loves without conditions, yet still maintains boundaries. Your presence awakens something else in them too: accountability. When they love you, they start reevaluating their actions not out of fear, but out of respect. They want to protect you, not harm you. They want to grow, not sabotage. They want to offer you something more than their shadows. And although they may not express it, they are learning from you. Your patience teaches them trust. Your honesty teaches them communication. Your consistency teaches them stability. Your light teaches them humility. But there is another truth you must understand. When a devil falls in love with an earth angel, they begin to question whether they deserve such light. They fear contaminating you with their darkness. They fear disappointing you. They fear being abandoned once you see the full extent of their scars. This fear makes them pull away at times. They retreat into silence or avoidance. But it is not rejection. It is self-doubt. They don't fully believe they are worthy of the purity you bring into their life, and yet, despite all their fears, they always return to you. Why? Because your energy is home, even when they don't know how to say it. Your presence is calm in the middle of their storms. Your intuition keeps them grounded. Your heart gives them a type of love they never believed existed. They don't just want you. They need you in a way that surprises them. You are the one soul who makes them feel seen without feeling judged, held without feeling trapped, loved without feeling controlled. Your connection is karmic, spiritual, ancient. It may feel overwhelming at times because it activates both of your deepest wounds and your highest potential. The devil tests your boundaries, and you teach them respect. You trigger their transformation, and they strengthen your wisdom. Together, you form a balance of fire and water, shadow and light, power and compassion. But make no mistake, a devil does not fall in love easily. And when they do, it is not something they can walk away from. You have become part of their inner world. They think of you in quiet moments. They replay conversations. They analyze your expressions, your tone, your intentions. They feel protective over you, not as possession, but as devotion. They see you as someone who deserves to be cherished, safeguarded, honored. They would cross worlds for you, even if they never admit it out loud. You did something that no one else ever could. You reached the part of them they thought was untouchable. And because of that, you have become the one truth in their life that feels sacred even when they resist, even when they hide, even when they struggle with their own shadows. Their love for you remains constant beneath it all. This connection is not about fixing others, but about awakening each other. You awaken their softness. They awaken your strength. You remind them of their humanity. They remind you of your power. You expand their heart. They expand your soul. You bring clarity to their chaos. They bring intensity to your purpose. This is why the universe orchestrated this meeting. Not to punish either of you, not to destabilize your path, but to teach you both the power of unconditional energy. To show you that love can bloom even in unlikely places, that light can reach even the deepest corners of darkness, that two souls from opposite realms can still rise together. And as this bond deepens, you will notice the ways they begin to shift. Subtly at first, they soften around you. Their anger mellows in your presence. Their defenses lower. They open up about things they've never shared. They allow you to see the wounded child beneath the powerful exterior. They rely on your authenticity because it feels safe. They trust your intuition because it has never betrayed them. They value your presence more than they can articulate, for a devil cannot be tamed, but they can be transformed when they meet the one who sees their soul. You are that one. And though this journey may be intense, profound, sometimes confusing, it is also deeply sacred. For you were chosen not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to love without losing yourself, wise enough to see beyond surface-level illusions, and brave enough to face the darkness without becoming it. A devil falling in love with an earth angel is a meeting of destiny, a convergence of realms, a rewriting of ancient patterns, a reminder that even the fiercest beings crave understanding, and even the gentlest souls carry fire. Your story is not a typical love tale. It is a spiritual confrontation, an emotional awakening, a cosmic lesson in balance. And as you continue walking this path, you will discover that the love between light and shadow is not meant to break you. It is meant to remake you stronger, deeper, wiser, more aligned with who you were always meant to be. And the devil who fell in love with you, they are learning, slowly but surely, that your love is not a threat but a blessing, that your light is not an enemy but a guide, that you are not here to expose their weakness but to reveal their potential. You are the one soul who handled them not with fear, not with resistance, but with truth, and that truth has changed them in ways nothing else ever could. This connection continues to unfold across realms, across timelines, across every layer of your souls. And this is only the beginning. There comes a moment in every divine shadow bond when the energy shifts, not because the connection weakens, but because it deepens. After the initial awakening, after the devil has recognized the earth angel's light and the angel has felt the echo of the devil's ancient soul, a new layer of truth emerges. It is the stage where both begin to feel the weight of what this connection means. For the devil, it is the realization that their emotions are no longer in their control. For the angel, it is the awareness that their presence has become a catalyst in someone else's transformation. And with this realization, the dynamic becomes more complex, more intimate, and more unavoidably real. The devil begins to observe you in ways they have never observed anyone before. They watch the way you navigate the world with quiet grace, even when no one sees your exhaustion. They watch how you speak kindness even when your heart has been bruised. They watch how you stand up for what you believe without becoming hardened. They watch how you stay soft without being naive. Your energy intrigues them because it contradicts every rule they created to survive. You do not fight with fire or manipulate with shadows. You influence with authenticity. You shift realities simply by existing as yourself. This confuses them deeply. For so long, they believed strength meant dominance, control, emotional distance. But you redefine strength in front of their eyes. You show them it can mean empathy without self-sacrifice, boundaries without cruelty, honesty without brutality. You show them that love, real love, is not a battlefield but a sanctuary. They do not know what to do with that truth. Part of them wants to run. Another part wants to surrender completely. The internal battle becomes a storm they cannot hide from. You may notice this shift without fully understanding its cause. They become more protective, more watchful, more invested in your well-being. They may test your loyalty, not because they doubt you, but because they doubt themselves. They may withdraw into silence, Not because they want distance, but because their emotions overwhelm them. A devil is not used to vulnerability. It terrifies them. It exposes them. And yet, they crave it when it comes from you. They want to let you in, but they fear what you might find. They want to love you, but they don't trust the world enough to believe such love can last. Still, the bond persists. The Earth Angel, too, begins to feel an internal shift. You start to sense their energy in ways you didn't before. You feel their longing even when they say nothing. You feel their pain even when they mask it. You feel their frustration, their confusion, their silent admiration. Your intuition picks up on the emotions they try to hide. And without even realizing it, your heart begins responding to those emotions. You find yourself thinking about them, wondering about them, caring for them in subtle ways, not out of pity, not out of obligation, but because your soul recognizes the truth behind their mask. You feel drawn to them, not to their darkness, but to the spark of humanity that still burns beneath it. You see potential where others would see danger. You see depth where others would see chaos. You see a soul that has been fighting for far too long, yearning for rest but too guarded to admit it. And something in you wants to offer that rest, that understanding, that safe space, not because you want to fix them, but because you want to witness their evolution. Because you believe that even the darkest beings deserve the chance to rediscover their light. This mutual pull creates a tension that neither of you can escape. It is magnetic, spiritual, ancient. It feels like destiny because, in many ways, it is. Your souls recognize each other from lifetimes past, from battles fought in realms beyond memory. You were never strangers. You were always connected. This lifetime is simply the moment when that connection resurfaces with new lessons to teach. The devil experiences something unprecedented, the desire to be better, not for power, not for validation, but for you. They begin to reconsider their choices. They become more aware of their flaws, their impulses, their shadows. They start asking themselves questions they once avoided. Am I worthy of this love? Can I change? Will they stay if they see who I really am? These questions torment them because they reveal the truth they have long denied, that beneath their armor, they are still a soul capable of love. And then there is the fear of losing you. This fear does not present itself loudly. It is subtle, quiet, woven into the pauses of their sentences and the hesitation in their eyes. When someone has lived in darkness, love feels like a risk. Light feels like exposure. Attachment feels like vulnerability. So they try to protect themselves by pretending they don't care as deeply as they do. They give mixed signals. They retreat after moments of intimacy. They hold back when they want to move closer, but their soul betrays them every time. Their energy reveals what their words try to hide. You sense this struggle and feel it as well. You feel the push and pull, the longing and restraint, the attachment and fear. You wonder why they act distant one moment and devoted the next. You wonder why they open up then shut down. You wonder why their soul speaks to you while their actions seem contradictory. But deep down you understand. They are learning how to love in a way they never have before. They are learning how to trust. They are learning how to surrender without losing themselves. There are moments in this journey when the connection feels heavy, when their intensity becomes overwhelming, when their silence becomes confusing, when their shadows spill into your light. You may feel uncertain. You may wonder if you are giving too much, if you are being too patient, If you are waiting for someone who may never fully heal, but then, without expecting it, they offer you glimpses of their true self, raw, unguarded, sincere. Moments when they speak with honesty that shakes your soul. Moments when they reveal their fears, their dreams, their pain. Moments when their love slips through the cracks of their defenses. And in those moments you realize why your connection matters. The devil may be intense, but their love is genuine. Their devotion is unwavering. Their loyalty is absolute. Once they choose you, they do not choose lightly. They choose with their entire being, even when they struggle to express it. They may not say the words often, but they show their love through actions, through protection, through presence, through transformation. For a devil does not change for anyone, but they will change for the one soul who touches their heart. You begin to understand that their darkness is not a threat, but a story. A story of survival, a story of resilience, a story of battles fought alone. You learn to read their silence, to recognize their moods, to sense their triggers. You learn that beneath their roughness lies a tenderness they rarely show the world. You learn that their intensity is not meant to overwhelm you, but to express the depth of their emotions, and with time, you learn to navigate their energy without losing yourself. In return, they learn from you as well. They learn patience. They learn vulnerability. They learn the difference between attachment and connection. They learn that love does not require control. They learn that trust is not weakness. They learn that softness is not fragility. Your presence reshapes them from the inside. You become their mirror, reflecting the parts of themselves they once buried. You become their guide, showing them a path they never believed existed. There are nights when the devil thinks about you more intensely than they would ever admit. They replay conversations. They analyze your expressions. They wonder what you are doing, who you are speaking with. Whether you think of them too, they feel jealous, protective, restless. They try to distract themselves, but nothing works. Their mind returns to you every time, not because they are obsessed, but because they are attached in a way that feels sacred, and you feel it too. You feel their energy reaching out to you. You feel the pull in your chest, the tug at your spirit, the quiet voice that whispers their presence. You know when they are thinking of you. You know when they are struggling. You know when they need you without them saying a word. This connection transcends physical interaction. It is soul-level communication, intuitive, telepathic, multidimensional. This intensity can be both beautiful and overwhelming, but it is part of the bond you share. A bond that deepens with every moment, every lesson, every silent exchange. As the connection evolves, the devil begins to soften, slowly but undeniably. They may resist at first, but transformation becomes inevitable. They start being more honest with themselves. They start opening their heart in ways they never expected. They start imagining a future they once believed they were incapable of having. And all of this is because of you, the one soul who reflected their humanity back to them. There will come a moment when the devil realizes that losing you would be more painful than facing their own shadows. And it is in that moment that they choose growth, not perfection, not instant healing, but growth. And that choice is the turning point of your story. Because once a devil decides to grow for the sake of love, they become unstoppable. You become the light that guides them. They become the strength that protects you. Together, you create a balance that neither of you could achieve alone. A balance that elevates both of your souls. a balance that fulfills a promise made long before this lifetime. This connection is not easy. It is not simple. It is not conventional. But it is real. It is transformative. It is sacred. And as you continue on this journey, you will see that everything, every challenge, every moment of confusion, every surge of emotion is part of a greater design unfolding between your souls. And the story is far from finished. There comes a stage in the bond between the earth angel and the devil where the connection moves beyond fascination, beyond awakening, and into revelation. This is the phase where the truth beneath the surface begins to expose itself in ways neither of you can avoid. It is the moment when the devil starts to realize that their feelings are not temporary, not fleeting, not something they can control or suppress. And it is the moment when you begin to grasp the weight of your influence on their soul. The devil, for the first time, becomes hyper-aware of their own vulnerability. They feel emotions rising within them that they have spent ages burying. Emotions they once called weaknesses now become echoes that grow louder the more they try to silence them. They notice how their heart responds to your presence, how their energy changes when you walk into a room, how their thoughts shift when your name crosses their mind. It unsettles them, not because the feelings are unwanted, but because they are powerful. They begin to realize that no matter how fiercely they cling to their old armor, it no longer shields them from what you awaken inside. Every attempt to retreat only draws them closer to the truth they fear to name. And as these emotions rise to the surface, refusing to be buried again, the devil understands that something within them has already shifted, something irreversible, something profound. It is in this quiet recognition, trembling yet undeniable, that they sense the beginning of a transformation they can no longer outrun.